So lately, I've been doing things a bit differently. And now, in the beginning, when I first started this channel, I was really focused on day trading with a small amount of money. And it was productive because, I could trade a couple $1,000s and make money going up and down. But then as I grew and as I made more money just in life and in general, I started having larger amounts of money that I needed to put to work, that I needed to invest. And well, my strategy as of late has really kind of changed away from day trading and more so looking for opportunities to invest on a longer term scale, really as a swing trader or as an investor, long-term investor. And it's funny because a lot of my liquidity and a lot of my money now is tied up in cryptocurrency. And a lot of people obviously will say that they think Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, is going to go to zero and it's all going to be worthless one day and Patrick's going to have no money left. But the way that I look at it here is that if you look at the technology, you look at where the future is heading, you look at the dollar, inflation, and all of that, there's obviously something very, very big happening here with cryptocurrency. As much as the skeptics would like to say that they don't believe that Bitcoin will reach astronomical prices, I believe the opposite. And well, it's been playing out really well for me over the last few months, the last year or so. In 2020, remember in March 2020, Bitcoin crashed to a low of almost $3,000. And I've talked about this before. I've made a video here on YouTube talking about how I was buying hands and fist and hands over fist, buying Bitcoin at that point when most people told me that I was an idiot. I was loading up on Bitcoin. And well, obviously Bitcoin went from $3,000 to, well, I think it was like a high of $65,000 after that, after I made the video. So my real strategy here for trading cryptocurrency, for investing cryptocurrency, is to buy the big red days, no matter what. And the way that I look at that simply is that if Bitcoin is crashing 10 to 20% in one day, and all of the altcoins are down 20, 30% in one day, well, then there's opportunity to be buying. Even though I believe that Bitcoin could go lower than it's currently at the $30,000 area, I still believe that buying these 10 to 20% dips on the way down as Bitcoin kind of works its way down to a new low, well, as that's happening, if I'm buying those dips, I'm getting a very, very good opportunity to buy at a much better price than just buying all willy-nilly. And it's funny because obviously you have people who are super bullish on Bitcoin, who believe that Bitcoin, would never drop 20, 30, 50% again. And well, here we are from the highs at $60,000 down to the $30,000 area. That's that 50% drop. And I actually had an argument with a guy a few months ago when Bitcoin was at $60,000. He told me that he said Bitcoin would never go below $30,000. It would never drop 50% ever again. Well, here we are. And it's not to say that I was right, but feel like I've been doing this long enough to know kind of to expect anything. Anything could happen really at this point. And the issue too, now, even though I believe that Bitcoin could go lower, from this point, from the $30,000 area, there's also a possibility that one day I wake up and Bitcoin's $40,000, $50,000. So that's kind of the argument here to trading it versus investing long term. Because if I was to trade it, as a trader, I'm looking at the chart and I'm like, man, there's a pretty big head and shoulders there on the chart. So I should probably just sell my Bitcoin now. I'm in the green. I bought the last dip. I should sell now and then buy the next dip. But like I said, the problem is what happens when I wake up one morning and Bitcoin's at $40,000. And you know exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to end up buying it at 40 and then it's going to crash to 20. So the premise here is very simple for my investment strategy is when cryptocurrency, the solid projects, I'm not talking about just like every little coin there is, but when cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, like ADA, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, when these currencies, when these coins drop big in one day they drop big, well, I'm looking to buy those dips. And then I'm looking to kind of average in at a certain point. I still have a lot of cash waiting on the sidelines because obviously I believe that Bitcoin will probably go lower from here, and I'm totally fine with that. I would love to see Bitcoin down to the $10,000 area. I talked about that a few months ago, kind of forecasting that $12,000 to $15,000 area as a low on Bitcoin here in 2021. But then there's people obviously that believe that Bitcoin will find a bottom here at the $30,000 area and then rocket to 100,000. And like I said, either way, I'm going to be good here, but I don't want to go and just chase and FOMO into anything that's moving. Now, also, we've got big news today from Crypto.com with the UFC. The biggest announcement here, the historic partnership that the UFC and Crypto.com are announcing a partnership. So the deal is, I guess they will actually have their logo on the jerseys now, right in the center of the jerseys. I don't think it's, yeah. So it says here that Crypto.com to place their branding on the UFC fight kits as worn by UFC athletes in competition, as well as fight kit apparel worn by athletes, cornermen, and women. So that's a pretty big deal. And obviously with Crypto.com, I've been talking about them for the last few months, working with these guys, really kind of liking the app. They've got a great app. They got a lot of opportunities to buy some of the lesser known coins like the Shiba Inu, which I don't know if it's lesser known at this point because it's obviously been kind of booming. But in general, this is a pretty big deal for UFC and Crypto.com there to make that deal. So things are happening. Constantly things are happening. Even in this kind of sell-off, even with Bitcoin selling off, things are happening. And, well, I'm along for the ride, and I'm totally fine. Like I said, long term, I want to be buying these dips. And that's exactly what I'm going to keep doing. The thing for me is I'm not really buying anything other than cryptocurrency. I'm pretty much putting all of my money in cryptocurrency. As of right now, I'm probably about 75% of my total net worth liquidity is in Bitcoin cryptocurrency right now. Like I said, I've still got a bunch of cash that I can dump into it as well. But my goal, really is, if we keep selling off here and we keep crashing, is to get to a point where really I'm like at 100%. I want to be 100%. All of my cash, all of my money in cryptocurrency. It's going to be a wild ride. Obviously, it's a large bet. It's a dangerous bet. I'm 32 years old, so if the bet doesn't work, if the investment strategy doesn't work, let's say cryptocurrency goes to zero and it all ends and, the world is just forgets that Bitcoin ever existed. Well, if that happens, well, I'm only 32. I've still got lots of time to make more money and then figure out my next investment strategy. But, looking at the charts here, looking at the action, it's almost, I wouldn't say it's impossible to believe that Bitcoin can't go to astronomical prices, but looking at how the market moves in these waves, and you have, the emotion around it as well. People basically go from being super bullish when Bitcoin's going up, and then they go to being super bearish once Bitcoin starts going back down. And that's just the way that investing works. Same thing with the stock market. We've seen, plenty of stocks that have had insane moves. Everyone becomes super bullish on them, and then they start crashing back down, and everyone's like, well, yeah, the party's over, and, I don't want to do it anymore. But if you look at some of the richest men in the world, you look at Warren Buffett, his investment strategy has always been very simple. Buying companies that he believes are undervalued when they are, in dire need, or, when they're going red, and looking for patience, having patience. And I think that's one thing that's going to really pay off for me, because with day trading, you kind of lose a lot of that patience because you're trying to constantly get in, make money, $100 here, $100 there, $200 there. But the thing is, for me, I just don't want to spend all of my life sitting here watching every little tick up and down, every little tick up and down. Now, I also, I still enjoy it. I still enjoy the trading aspect, and I think the trading aspect can really help with my overall long-term investment strategy. But the problem for me is, do I really want to spend my entire life just sitting here watching the numbers go up and down all day long? Or would I rather make, solid investments as we go here, make those investments, and then, down the road, being able to look back and like, wow, look, I made this investment 2 years ago. It's now paid off 10 times. Where, trading, I'm just like every day, like, okay, $100, $200, $300, trying to make those profits every day. That's just not really kind of what my overall life goal is right now, especially living here in Hawaii. I'm much more into the idea of being able to go out and live my life and, have my money making me money. And that's kind of how I'm shifting as a investor, as a trader, is really looking for opportunities as those opportunities arise. I still will be dabbling in the stocks and all that, But in general, really, my strategy here is to invest long-term cryptocurrency. I want to be buying crypto as it's crashing down. I want to be buying as everybody else is telling me to not be buying, and everyone's starting to become bearish. Well, that's the sign that I want to start getting in, because now, less people are talking about it, less people believe that it's going to go to the moon. Well, that's the time to be buying, my friends. So really, for me, I'm focused on just opportunity, solid cryptocurrencies that have been around for a long time, ones that have potential, looking at the chart, looking at the action, and really, looking for that momentum to jump in on and, to kind of ride that next big wave. At the end of the day, I believe that at some point, Bitcoin will break over $100,000. It will break over $200,000 in the future. Is it to say that I can put a price target like today, be like, okay, June 1st, 2021 or June 1st, 2022, the price of Bitcoin will be $375,000. Obviously, that does nothing for me, and it does nothing for you. But really, for me, the focus here is to be buying the projects that have potential, investing, kind of spreading out too. I'm not putting all of my money into one crypto. I'm not putting all of my money into like two or three. I'm really kind of spreading it out right now, and then looking for those opportunities, looking for news based on, different kind of currencies that are coming out or whatever's going on. They kind of, deciphering that as we go and making a decision based on multiple things, looking at supply cap, looking at the hype around it, looking at the possibility of like what really could happen with these different projects. So for me, I'm using crypto.com to be buying the dip here. There's it's really simple and easy to sign up. If you guys want to check them out, it's crypto.com. There's a link down below. But that's my strategy right now. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm working on. Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. We're looking for opportunities. We're looking to ride the next big wave in cryptocurrency. I don't know exactly when that wave is going to come, but I do believe that long-term Bitcoin will continue to rise and rise in price. And I'm totally fine with kind of waiting for that opportunity and having the patience, reinventing myself as an investor, as a trader, reinventing myself, looking for those opportunities, and really just kind of living my life at this point. So if you guys haven't already, do me one big favor, hit that like button, subscribe button, all the buttons down below. We're doing it right here live. Well, not live, but we're doing it right here in Hawaii, investing, making money, and looking for opportunities. So I'll talk to you guys later on.